What's good, gamers? It's been a couple days. I just haven't felt like recording. It felt like work, so I didn't. Um, but we're back at it. Somebody fucking hit my passenger side mirror on my car today. So yeah, that's all that's really going on, and it's Super Bowl Sunday. But yeah, that's all that's going on. We have just wrapped up the tournament arc. Jackie Chun was the victor, defeated Goku. I wouldn't say handily, but um, he certainly edged him out. Uh, Roshi is just kind of giving the boys guidance, letting them know that maybe they'll have to keep training to keep being better than other people. Like if this last tournament taught them anything, it's that they're not going to be the strongest people all the time unless they keep trying and training. Um, Goku says instead of going back to train with Roshi on his island, he'll go and search for his grandpa's Dragon Ball. Um, he's ready and willing to set off on his own. Roshi tries to, suggest that that Krillin go with him. Um, but Krillin's not particularly amenable. He thinks that he can still receive some guidance from Roshi, but Roshi hates to hear that. You know, he he wants to spend time alone with Launch on his island. He's ready for that part of his deal to, be realized. Because it seems like she's still hiding from the cops on his island. But Krillin's gonna dash those hopes. Um, I am looking through my notes. I didn't write anything about it. Um, but in the sub specifically, uh, Goku comments on. Wait, it might be coming up now. Okay, it didn't come up. Oh no, it might be here. It might be here. Sorry, lot of dead air. Oh yeah, okay. It's the same as the sub and the dub. Krillin finally like offers to come along, and Goku's like, "No thanks, you can't ride the cloud anyway. He's not pure of heart." Um, Roshi tells him that all of his belongings are in his suitcase, and he goes to dig through it. And specifically in the dub, there he says that there are a lot of magazines in Goku's little suitcase thing. Um, so Roshi gets flustered and he's just like, "Okay, get your things. Please leave now." Um, but yeah, Roshi had a porn in his suitcase with Goku's belongings. Um, this is a very visual heavy episode. A lot of cool looking things in this one. We get the title screen. It's The Roaming Lake versus the subtitle, which is Another Adventure, The Wandering Lake. Um, I believe in the sub, Krillin forgot what the name of the Dragon Balls were. Um, it just kept slipping his mind, it seems like. But I'll verify that later. I'll write it in the description if I got that wrong. Uh, anyway, Krillin and Roshi set off. Roshi said he had a stop to make. So we see Krillin in his little gangster get up with a couple of scoops of ice cream waiting for Roshi um, because it seems like he's wandered off. And Roshi is wandered off to a lingerie department, it seems like. Or maybe just like a women's underwear retailer. Maybe not specifically lingerie. Um, he thinks to himself he can buy something nice for launch here. Um, he's got plugs in his nose to keep from bleeding everywhere. Uh, um, so it's the same general concept as the sub. Um, he walks into this lingerie department and wants the receptionist or the cashier to model the underwear for him. Um, in the sub, specifically, he asks how old she is, and she says 19. And he says, I'm buying these for my granddaughter. Hopefully, you can try these on. You seem about the same size, and if they fit well, I'll buy them. Whereas in the dub, he just wants her to try them on to see if they'll be a good gift for launch. Um, so he lies in the sub versus the dub. He's just a pervert. But in the sub, he's a pervert and a liar. Um, we see Nam returning to his village, and everyone seems a little, distressed. And he hasn't come back with a bunch of water. So they say, "Oh, you failed? That's okay, Nam. It was a lot of pressure to put on you anyway." And he says, "No, I didn't fail." He uh he pulls back, or not pulls back. He pulls out his capsule that Jackie Chun gave to him. Clicks it. A couple of tanks of water come out of it, and it flows pretty freely. I will note that as he's talking about how he brought the water back, um, specifically in the dub, he narrates it. Like we see a flashback, but only in the dub is there narration about how he got the water. In the sub, it's just silent. Um, but he thanks Jackie Chun again for his kindness, um, and walks over to a empty uh, ravine. I guess it could be called a creek, maybe. He walks over to the empty creek, we'll call it, with the village elder, and he tells him a tale about a magical lake that used to flow through the village and like keep it alive. This lake was rumored to move around, like it's a migrating lake. It would move from village to village and kind of save them just because they didn't have direct access to water, which does make me wonder why they would be set up near a place that doesn't regularly have direct access to water. But um, I won't get into the politics of living somewhere without natural resources. Um, anyway, Nam hears tale of this lake, uh, this migrating lake, and he sets off for it. He goes to walk around and try to find it. He sets out to the outskirts of the village, and shortly, a little bit later, he is confronted by a member of Girin's clan. It's not Garen himself, but it is uh, a pterodactyl looking guy of the same variety. He's captured by this pterodactyl Garen clan looking motherfucker. And that's it. We have to wonder. We see Goku flying through the air. He's particularly parched, just very thirsty. He's been flying through the desert on Nimbus for quite some time. Just kind of looking for the 4-star ball, I guess. He might just be exploring because he doesn't have the radar out. But he's just been flying through the desert. He looks for a source of water. He finally finds one. He dives into it, starts swimming around, just enjoying himself. And then he sees that pterodactyl with Nam in his claws, um, flying overhead, and Nam screaming for the dinosaur to let him go. I guess Nam doesn't see Goku below, but Goku sees him, and he throws on his clothes, gets all his stuff together, and sets off to save him on the Nimbus. Uh, I wrote down in the sub that the dinosaur says, "I'll eat you at my leisure." Goku catches up to the pterodactyl and Nam, and kind of just gets the gist of what's going on from Nam. Um, he talks a little, low, so I can't quite hear what he's saying without it picking up on the mic. But it's essentially just, "I'll eat you and Goku. Uh, you can't fuck me up. I'm I'm big chillin'. You're no threat to me." Um, to which Goku flies to the left hand side of him on Nimbus, whips out the power pole, and just fucking whacks him over the head with it. Just light work on this dinosaur. Um, that same move that he pulled out first 5 episodes, I think. It might have been the first episode, where he broke the fin off the top of the monster. He did that again, which kind of seems to indicate when he's defeated one of them. It's just he breaks their top fin off. But he saves Nam. Nam is actually able to fly on the Nimbus. So we get the idea that Nam is pure of heart. At least more so than Bulma, Oolong, uh, Roshi. Who else couldn't? Krillin. He's more pure than all of them at the very least. Which tracks because all he really went to the tournament for. It wasn't for glory. It was literally just for the prize money to buy water to bring back to his people. Um, but all of that to say, Nam can fly on the Nimbus. Very pure-hearted guy. We love that. Bulma, Yamcha, Puar, and Oolong were driving through the desert, and I believe their car broke down, or at the very least, they're just taking a break. But they're braking on the side of the road, and it's hot as hell. So Bulma tricks Oolong into transforming into an umbrella, and Puar of there, I think they is still correct. Puar changes into an electric fan. No need for an outlet. It's just an electric fan. Um, to cool Yamcha and Bulma off. They kind of bicker in the car. They've got like a couple spat thing going on. Oh, to which Oolong's like, I don't know what their dynamic is, but I hate it. Um, Anyway, they're cooling off. Meanwhile, Goku and Nam fly along the path of this like creek or ravine, and eventually stumble upon water. And they follow it all the way to the source, and find a bunch of members of Girin's clan. It seems like they've created a dam to hold in all the water, and they're just kind of like bathing and playing in it. So Nam meets with a couple of them and just begs them to open up the dam so that his people can have some kind of water. And they all refuse. They're like, we will fuck you up. We don't have to do anything for you. Um, so Nam flips the one that he was begging as they all kind of start moving in. Goku jumps down from his perch on a tree, just above Nam, and he's like, if you want to fight, you can fight me. I don't suggest it. Um, but they all dogpile on him, and then he throws them back. Girin shows up, uh, calls them all off, and essentially just says, "Hey, what's up?" They all call him Master, so he's the leader of this clan. Um, and he says essentially, none of you are worthy enough to fight Goku. Um, which goes to show that I guess Girin is the toughest of his little clan. Um, but he kind of speaks for them, and he lets Goku know that he appreciates the story that Nam had to provide, and while he'd be happy to help, no one's strong enough to break the dam because it was forged with that same merry-go-round gum, um, from his fight with Goku. The one that Goku had to like really struggle to break out of. That's how the dam was stuck together. So Goku says, naturally, no problem. I got this. Just watch and learn. And he takes his step back and fucking fires a Kamehameha wave into the dam and breaks it open. The water is free, for all again. Um, Garrett looks a little shocked at first, uh, which I mean, I guess, buddy, he beat you handily. You gave up, so that you couldn't know Goku's full wrath. Which now that he sees that he can just break open the gum with a Kamehameha, um, probably the the right move. It seems like Goku would have beat his ass. Um, anyway, Goku and Nam make it back to the village as a sandstorm starts to kick up. Um, we see Bulma, Yamcha, Puar, and Oolong out in the desert. Um, and Oolong is knocked out of his little transformation. I'm gonna see the explanation for this in English. Okay, completely different interaction. Uh, yeah, completely different interaction in the desert here, for the dub versus the sub. In the sub, Oolong explains that he can only hold a transformation for 5 minutes and needs a 1 minute cooldown between transformations. And Poir pokes fun at him, saying that uh, that's because he didn't actually graduate um, from the Southern Transformation Kindergarten, because he was kicked out for stealing teachers' panties. um, and Oolong's like, get off my back. Uh, so it seems like Poir and Oolong both went to the same school for transformation. Um, Oolong was kicked out, Poir graduated. So Poir doesn't have a limit on what their transformation can be, while Oolong's cooldown is 5 minutes. In the sub, Oolong's just kind of kvetching. He's just like bitching about um the sandstorm, and he's like, how am I supposed to maintain this form when I'm sandy? um and Bulma and Yamcha are understanding. They're just like, the storm caught us all by surprise, it's okay. Whereas in the sub, they were like, you can't hold your form, but Poir can? Fucking loser. Um, so much different vibe there. Uh, it seems like they have a more tense situation in the sub. Um, all of that to say, Goku breaks the dam. After the dust storm settles in the village, we see that water has returned to them, so they're most likely not going to need those reserves that Nam procured from the martial arts tournament from Jackie Chun. But we'll see. Maybe it'll come in handy. But I think that might be the last that we see of Nam. I'm not sure. Um, Whatever the case may be, that's the end of the episode. Sorry it took a couple of days for me to feel like recording anything. That's just how it goes. It felt like work, and that really turned me off. Um, the only other note that I wrote down, um, the narrator at the end of the sub said specifically, the harsh nature has blessed the beautiful minded people. Um, so, Nam's village can, I guess, also be known as the beautiful minded people. Um, anyway, apart from that aside, that's the end of the episode. Hope you liked it. Do the YouTube things, like, comment, subscribe, bell icon. Bye.